Hey guys, welcome back to Domain Reality. I'm Andrea. I'm back. Did you miss me? I know I missed you guys. It's been quite some time. So I thought I'd jump on and give you guys an update. If you are just visiting my channel for the first time, please make sure that you subscribe and follow me, like this video, so that I can get to 1,000 subscribers so I can get my Domain Reality URL and eventually monetize the page, but that's down the road. But I'm so glad to be back with you guys. I know it's been a long time. I think you might have one short video from me this year, and you're probably thinking, how is somebody that has a vlogcast just go MIA? I just ghosted y'all. Bye. Just joking. So let's jump on back. Well, let's actually talk about the title of today's video. Today is August 28th, 2021, Saturday. Today marks day 242 of COVID and the after effects for me personally. So yes, this is going to be a video we're going to talk about COVID, and we're not going to talk about everybody else's experience and the vaccines and all that stuff. We'll save that for another date. We're going to talk about my experience, portions of it, because a lot of it I'm still not ready to talk about. But first things first, hair's growing back. Macy, it's growing. Might need to come get a little trim up here in a minute. She was definitely a lifesaver when I finally got moved over to rehab. For those of you that have been, watching my vlogcast prior to me getting sick, I love my long hair, and it's always been straight and done nothing with it because it doesn't hold a curl or hairspray or anything, but it's mine. It's a piece of me. It's a part of me. It's really weird. I don't get it. Well, I think I've come to the reasoning why is because when my mother had cancer and she shaved hers, and I just hold on to mine, I guess. So when I woke up and we tried to save it, and I knew I was gonna have to cut it, I just boohooed like a big baby. But thankfully for good friends that have always been there for me, Mrs Macy came, she cut it up. Look, I'm gonna cry now because of my hair. But it is growing back. She did an excellent job. I love her. If you are in the Deer Park area, make sure you go over. I will link her shop in the comments somewhere. I have to make sure that she's still at the same shop. But yeah, she's definitely somebody that will take care of you, your kids. She'll chit chat with you. She'll cut your husband's hair, cut kids' hair. Single mom, putting her kids through college and stuff like that. So definitely go support her. So let's jump back because we kind of like flip flop there. So let's go back to December 30th. My partner had every symptom of COVID. I had none. He had been displaying them for a couple days. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. We had, and when I say we, I say him and I, my whole family, my sons, to the point where I didn't even see them for almost 60 days because they had been exposed and they didn't want to expose me because of my lymphedema. We knew that if I got sick, I would get sick. I don't ever think in my wildest imagination I would have ever gotten as sick as I did. So on the 30th of December, we went ahead and did the drive-through testing. I went ahead and got tested as well, even though I was displaying no symptoms. The 31st, both of our tests came back positive. Still, I had no symptoms. He was running the whole gambit. The fever, he hadn't been out of bed for several days. No appetite. I was doing everything I could just to force juice into him. sleeping the whole time, and still mean nothing. About the second, I started developing a real bad headache, severe headache. I used to have migraines really bad when I was younger. They did a couple blood patches. I haven't had them in years. If you are a fellow migraine sufferer, you know that pain. And that is the pain that developed first for me. Still no fever. Just developed that gut-wrenching headache that was making me nauseous. So I started sleeping, started getting very tired. I, at that point, was on oxygen from a previous hospital stay in October with my lymphedema. So another day or so goes by, I started to struggle, even with the oxygen. Really struggled. And, you know, for me to have to turn the oxygen up and to still not be able to breathe, I start panicking. I just exaggerated, you know, and I hate to say that, but for those that suffer panic attacks, you'll understand what I mean. So when you can't breathe and your chest is tight and your head is doing its own thing, and you just don't know what's going on with your body at that point, I was doing everything I could to hold it together. So I was speaking with my sister and my sister-in-law and my son, and we all talked about it, and we decided that I needed to go to the hospital. Even if it was just to get checked out, clear me, send me back home. Fine. Still, at this point, no fever. I didn't lose my taste or smell or anything like that. So only the headache and the trouble breathing. And nausea from the headache. That was a side effect. So I waited that night. I didn't call that night. The next morning, I went ahead and called the ambulance. I didn't want to admit that I was struggling as bad as I was, but I was. And so they came, full PPE, you know, coming into the house. I look like, you know, they're coming in to hook up ET when they're coming in the front door. Like, these big suits, and, you know, you hear them with their mask, and it's just, if you're already scared and nervous and panicking, that's not what you want to see. I'm just saying. So they checked me. They said, absolutely, you need to go. So I said goodbye to my better half. And I remember walking down the stairs. There were 3 of them. And I was on the 3rd floor at our other apartment. I remember walking down the steps and getting onto the gurney. I don't remember anything else after that. Now, this is already the 7th of January. Somewhere I lost a couple days. So this is the 7th of January in the morning. And so I remember going down the stairs, getting onto the gurney. I remember nothing else. Based upon text messages, and I was sending little funny videos to my sister. I love TikTok, so I was, you know, sending TikToks for like 2 days. According to my hospital records, which I made the decision to read through, I'm telling you, I can only read a couple days or a couple pages at a time, and I really have to step back from them because they're intense. We'll talk about that in a minute. So apparently they were giving me the remdesivir. I can't say the word. I don't care how many times I've tried phonetically spelling it. Can't do it. So the plasma and everything, and I was responding according to them. Like I said, I was texting with people. I was sending little videos to Summer. All of this I don't remember at all. The last memory I have is leaving my house and getting on the gurney. So Per my hospital records, at 4:34 in the morning on the 10th, a charge nurse who ended up being on my floor later on, and I got to meet him and thank him, but he was coming around the corner, and I was on the floor in my room, seizing. My oxygen level was below 40. They don't know how long I had been there. Apparently, I had said something about getting up to take a shower. Why that would even happen, or they would even let me out of bed, I'm not quite sure. So something happened, an episode. They didn't tell my family that I was seizing. They just told them that I found me on the floor. I was not responsive. That gambit. So it's really hard to read the words full code. Patient, gravely ill, please advise family to be ready. And those were the notes in my chart. Starting from that day, they only got worse. So they did a full code, then intubated me, moved me to ICU. I coded again. So at this point, they don't know if I have a hypoxic brain injury because they don't know how long I was without oxygen. They don't know if the seizures caused any damage. All they know is I am fully machine kept alive. So they put me into a medically induced coma, and I was intubated, feeding tubes, all the good jazz. So 24 days, intubated for 24 days. I was in ICU for 31. Every doctor, administrator, I even had this cutest little old lady came by after I was awake and I was still in ICU, and she came by. She said, "You're alive." I was like, "Yes, ma'am." She goes, "They didn't think you'd make it, but I prayed." She was so sweet. Jeez Louise. Okay, see, this is why you don't read your own hospital notes. So, in the course of that 24 days, there was a lot that happened. They tried several times to take me off the machines, to wake me up. I wasn't having it. I was very, you could tell my agitation and my anxiety in the vitals. They were proning me multiple times, trying to get my lungs to open. I ended up with double COVID pneumonia in my lungs, and so every day the X-rays were like more, just there. So bad at one point they couldn't even see the trach tube, the intubation tube, to see if it was right. They had to redo X-rays. So every single doctor in their charts was writing patient critically ill, patient not expected to survive. Please be advised, family needs to be on call. Those are that's interesting to read. They were to the point of doing a trick, which those of you who know me know that I love to sing. I karaoke all the time. I'm loud, proud, I talk, and my voice, my speech, the way, that is such a part of me. And so it got to the point where they were going to have to do the trick. And thank the Lord, well, the doctor that was going to do the trach refused multiple times. Said patient is not stable enough to do it. I developed multiple GI bleeds. I developed a clot in my lung and a clot in my leg, a blood clot from the COVID. And so, goodness gracious, had I not woken up when I did, then I probably would be living a whole different life now. I mean, I'm living a different life, but not to that extent, thank God. So, 1 second here. So, after proning me and just really going above and beyond, I cannot thank the doctors and nurses and administrators there at Texas City Mainland that saved my life. It really did. But so when they were able to wake me up and wean me at, sorry. When they were able to take me out of the coma, I was still intubated. Now, that's going to be a whole nother video, but if you have ever heard of Icu Psychosis, that is real. It's 100% real. I've started writing it, but it's like the doctor's notes, because I can only write so much per day, because it was, so the whole time that I was in the coma, remember, I don't even remember being at the hospital. So I obviously don't know that I'm in a coma. I was having these horrible, vivid, I mean, like I was in them, wildest dreams. Basically, I'd been kidnapped. I was trying to get back to my family, couldn't, anything and everything. And I could, once I started writing it and I'm reading the notes from the doctors and the nurses, it's funny, the things that were correlating. Things they were doing were things that were in my dream, but just a different way. But we're not going to digress into that. That's because I want my family and my kids to hear that first, before I share all of that. So it's going to take a little bit of time to share that. So coming out of this coma, first of all, I don't know where I'm at. And I have all these tubes. I can't talk. I cannot move. I'm alone in a hospital because COVID. But I was awake. So they kept trying to, it took a couple days to be able to remove the intubation tubes where I could, breathe on my own, because they would do these tests each day and I just couldn't. My lungs couldn't handle it, couldn't function. I'd start panicking. So so once they were finally able to get me off, there was a nurse who was a floating nurse, not even from this, at this hospital. He was a traveling nurse. He came in every single night that I was in ICU and took care of me. And he became friends with Riley. And because those of you that know me, know my family, and we don't sit by. My family is not going to let me sit in there and die by myself. So they got told, okay, only one person can call. It has to be Riley, because he's my oldest living blood relative. Not even like somewhere in loop, because I had a child, it had to go to him. So, so he would talk to Christian every single day, and Christian would, keep him up to date. He would tell Riley things that needed to be decided on. Riley would report back to the family, and it really took a village, and I can't thank Christian enough. I wish that we could find him, but he's off doing saving somebody else's life. But so he actually, when they pulled that tube, he got it okayed for Riley to come. So I was still in ICU. Just had the tubes pulled. I still had the feeding tube. Still couldn't move. I didn't know why I couldn't move. I just figured it was from the coma. But but so Riley came and we video chatted everybody in the family. Most of them just got like a forehead shot. I think Summer posted that on her Facebook, because I couldn't move, couldn't hold anything, had no strength. I really was still just trying to comprehend where I was. And so every night, though, when it would be time for me to go to sleep, I would just have fear of going back to sleep and never waking up. And then fear of the dream, going back into the dream. Because it still took me quite a bit of time to kind of figure out what was real and what wasn't. Those dreams were that vivid. So the week after I woke up and I was still in ICU, was very, very tumultuous to me. Like, it was a hard week, and I know by the time they moved me out of ICU, I know Christian and all the nurses were ready to hear me go. It just, at night, like I said, I would start having hallucinations, and then you're freaking out, you don't know where you're at, and then I can't move, and I was hallucinating that I was on the floor, and I was hallucinating that I was caught in wires, and and it's a very scary situation. So, but we'll put more of that into the Icu Psychosis video. So finally, after 31 days, I got moved to a COVID floor, because I was still testing positive for COVID. And I'm thinking, of course, I'm throwing a fit, because I want to go home. I don't understand why they won't let me go home, regardless of the fact that I can't sit up, I can't eat, I can't move. I'm literally reduced to having, a bath in the bed, because they're having to, roll me over, and, I have no control of, I can't even sit up, I can't hold my head up, I can't do anything. But, my hard head wanted to go home. But they could not let me. So they moved me to a COVID floor, because I was still testing positive for COVID, and I spent 2.5 weeks there, and finally moved to a non-COVID floor. When I was in the COVID room is when I met the charge nurse, who told me, he saw my name and he was like, "Jewel?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Andrea Jewel." He was like, "Oh my God, you're alive." I really kind of got tired of hearing that. but I never got tired of hearing it. It was a reminder every single day just how lucky I was. And when you have the top administrator for the hospital coming by every single day to check on me and, you know, stop by and talk to me and just make sure everything's going right. And at that point, he said that I was the longest one that had made it out of ICU at that campus. And, you know, it's just, God is a great physician. And, yeah. So they moved me to the non-COVID floor. I stayed a week there. So now we're all in total roughly almost 2 months at Texas City. And I'm just being ornery because at this point, my family's still not able to come see me. I'm stuck in this bed. I can't move. I'm frustrated. My fingers wouldn't work. I have use of this hand. I finally got use of my right hand. But like my phone wouldn't recognize my fingerprints. The phone was too heavy. You know, the lights would go off at night and I couldn't sleep. The medicine they were giving me wasn't helping. It was just, I've always been a person that needs to be around my family. And that was really, really, really starting to affect me. So, after a time there, we finally got me accepted to PAM Rehab in Clear Lake. I tell you what, excellent facility. Excellent facility. If they were, the nursing staff was, you know, caring, on point, just everything. And then the, you know, the therapist, the PT and the OT. I had the sweetest OT girl. She worked so hard to try to save my hair before we had to call Macy. But they really had my best interests, you know, at heart. You know, they understood that I was very frustrated. You know, when you go from being very active, well, even like the year before I got COVID, I had slowed down a lot because of my lymphedema in my legs, but I still was on the go 24/7, able to do crafts all the time. I, you know, enjoyed my vlogs with you guys. I really just didn't stop. But to go from that to put on the brakes, you're not doing anything, you're not sitting up, you can't feed yourself. Several times in the hospital, they'd bring me my tray and I literally would look at it like, I can't feed myself, what do you want me to do? So I figured out to start ordering fruit. And so I ordered two plates of fruit a day because I could pick the fruit up in my hand. Now half of it ended up on the floor, but half of it got into my mouth. So, but when I went over to PAM, I stayed 2.5 weeks over at PAM Rehab. And then I just told them I'm ready to go home. The nice thing about PAM was they would allow one family member every day, for a couple hours a day. That was okay. Every day I had a family member there. And that, to me, being around family is a healing tool better than medicine sometimes. So I was released once I was able to, with assistance, move from the bed to the wheelchair. I went to Summers for 3 weeks. Godsend, because if you remember, I lived on the 3rd floor. So after about 3 weeks, I was like, I want to go home. I think I was getting a little bit stronger. I was taking a few steps on my own. I still was very, very weak. Lazy Lucy is still out, you know, on a cruise ship somewhere, but she's getting a little bit better. She's moving a little bit. So, but I just made up my mind. I was ready to go home. So, the army that is my family got me up them stairs one at a time. It took quite an army and quite a long time, but we got up the top. So, The bad thing is once I got up there, I couldn't go anywhere. And I was kind of really stuck in the bed because I just, there wasn't much I could do. There still is not. I'm able to do a lot more, and I'm still not able to do much. So the mental battle of it all has been almost as hard as the physical battle at some points. So here we are 242 days later from when this all started for me. We finally, 2 weeks ago, got moved into a new apartment, a ground floor apartment. Our previous apartments would not let us out of our lease, even though it was not safe for me to be there at all. So we went ahead and finished out our lease like good boys and girls do. So we just got moved here to a ground floor apartment that I can get in and out of safely. I have gone out a couple times. I went to lunch with Summer and some friends last week. I've been to lunch with the family a couple times. Went to the Dollar Tree. That was a big trip. It was a long trip, but that was a big trip. So just little by little, but like I say, here we are 242 days later, and I am still dealing with COVID. I'm still dealing with COVID and the side effects of the coma caused by COVID. So, there is something called long COVID. It is real. It is 100% real. So basically, my body is still recovering from COVID, and they don't know how long it'll last. There's parts where I literally sleep. This week was one of them. For 3.5 days, I slept, and I couldn't bring myself to wake up. I mean, it was forcing myself to wake up to like eat. But then, on the other side of that is the psychosis dreams. So I have to really keep those at bay. I still don't have use of my left arm. Lazy Lucy is stubborn as a brat. I am able to walk a little bit. I'm very unstable, and I can't walk very far. I'm very tired from doing anything. I had been using a shower chair. Since we moved here, I've taken 2 standing showers, which is a plus. I'm scared to death, but it's a plus. I can cook a few things. I can't cook a lot because I can't cut. It's amazing how many things you can't do with just one hand. But I'm learning ways. My crafting stuff is sitting here, screaming at me that they want to be played with, and unfortunately that's just not in the program this month. Cannot drive. In the past couple months, I've developed in my left eye, it is losing sight, and every morning it's like coated, but it's blurry all the time now, and so they say that could be a side effect of COVID as well. I'm having to have some teeth pulled. I don't know if it was when I was intubated or what. I guess one cracked, and then it broke. So I'm having that done on Monday. Brain fog is a real thing. I can be doing one thing, you're talking to me, and then all of a sudden I have no idea what you're talking about. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things. So I'm seeing neurologists, doing all the tests. They're trying to figure out, did I have a hypoxic brain injury, which all of my doctors are kind of in agreement that I didn't. They all think that the damage on the arm is from when they were proning me, because you have to be completely paralyzed and they turn you over, and I was proned 9 times, I believe. So an excessive amount, but it could have damaged it then, because my arm was tied to a board. It was taking my vitals every 15 minutes. So imagine tied to a board for 30 days, not moving. They didn't come in and work my legs or my arms or anything. So I did lose all my muscle mass. So that's why I had to learn to sit again, learn to eat. I am able to eat, feed myself now, dress myself a little bit. If you see me in a muumuu dress, it's because that's what I can dress. I did put on jeans the other day to go out with summer in them, and it was the first time this year. So there's, I don't have any problems breathing, which is funny. Like, I went in with oxygen and I came out not needing oxygen. It was really weird. So I do occasionally have some chest pain, but I haven't had any, like, loss of breath. Like, no issues breathing, which is weird. But like I said, I am seeing the neurologist. They're gonna start some IVIG treatments that'll hopefully regenerate the muscles or the tendons and stuff in my arms and my leg, because I do have what's called foot drop on the right foot. So basically your foot doesn't hold up, it drops. So when I'm walking, I'm having to pull it up, like all the way up. It's a lot better though. It's a lot better. And my feet I can feel both of my feet now, which for months I couldn't feel my feet. I was doing PT and OT 4 times a week, but August 1st, I got the glory of switching to Medicare, because I waited 2 years and finally got Medicare. Guess what? They don't tell you all the costs that come with Medicare. I would have rather stayed on my other insurance. But we're going to work it out. It's in God's hands, and we're going to work it out. So currently right now, I am not doing physical therapy or occupational therapy because of the cost. We'll have to figure that one out. So I'm just doing exercises at home, being careful, very careful, because I haven't fallen or anything. I'm knocking on wood. But a lot of that is that I'm too scared to do things. So there's taste-wise, the only thing that my taste buds changed. Okay, I am a huge Coke drinker. Coke. I tried to quit. It just doesn't happen. Okay? So, yeah. So, I'm a Coke drinker. Guess what I cannot stand the taste of now? Coke. That, and for the first couple months, Sprite. Couldn't. Now I can drink a Sprite or 2 here or there. So I've had to switch over to Dr. Peppers, and I can drink these orange Sunkist and sweet tea, and of course. But other than that, no other taste-wise, smell-wise, everything's the same. I'm trying to think. But yeah, so definitely look up long COVID. It is a thing, and the bad thing is nobody knows how long it's gonna last. So, and I'm frustrated with the process of healing, because I just want to get up and go. I don't like being dependent on people. I don't like not being able to take care of myself, not being able to get in the car and drive and go and do what I need to do. But, I'm unfortunately, all those things have been taken from me. So I'm frustrated with the process of it taking so long. All of my doctors and specialists, they're all like, you are leaps and bounds ahead of where you should be. Because they say it takes 3 to 5 days to recover for every day that you were in the coma. And then like 3 days for every day you were in the hospital. So you're looking at almost 2 years recovery time for me. And that just probably is not going to work. No, I'm pushing myself, very hard pushing myself. I'll continue to push myself because there's no other reason not to. When I need to take a break, I'll take a break. So yeah, so just want to catch you guys up to date on this grand day 242. I hope and I pray that none of you have to experience this. I hope and I pray that each of you protect yourself in a way that you see fit. And I'm thankful for each and every one of you that prayed for me, that reached out to my family, that has helped me since I've been home. Without you guys, I wouldn't be sitting here. Because even the doctors themselves know that they didn't heal me. So, I just wanted to say thank you. I hope that I'm not having to do a 484-day video. I'm hoping, it's weird. I just, like, one day I hope to wake up and just everything work again. Like, my hand drives me completely insane. Not being able to walk, you know, it's just, I hope one day just to wake up and it be fixed. But nobody knows. So there's your update. Thank you guys for sticking with me for this long video. I'm going to be working on a couple other videos, some COVID related, some not COVID related. But yeah, if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube page. I will put Miss Macy's information down low. If you need a haircut, you're in the Deer Park, Pasadena area, definitely check in with her. She will definitely take care of you. I'm forgetting something. It's called brain fog. Once again, you guys, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. For loving me, for loving my family. There is a Amazon list. I'll put it in the description as well. Of some things that I need for the house. We're trying to make the house safe for me, to move around, to possibly be able to cook again, to have a little bit of independence. Also, if you'd like to help donate towards my therapy, my Venmo will be there in the comments. Please don't feel like you have to. I'm just putting that there just in case you would like to. But yeah, so I hope that each and every one of you is having a great week. For those in the path of Ida right now, you know, if you decided to stay, please stay safe. You know, it's those of us that live on the coast know that hurricanes are nothing to play with. So I hope that you made the choice that is correct for you and your family. We definitely will be praying for you, praying for all of our family homes over there in the area. So I encourage you guys to just stay connected with what's going on daily, because the world is rapidly changing. So, once again, my name is Andrea. This has been Domain Reality. Domain reality of COVID is it sucks. It sucks balls. I'm not even going to play and say that it doesn't. The domain reality of that is that I don't wish it on my worst enemy. So I pray that each and every one of you stay safe. Thank you again for coming by. Make sure you subscribe. I will see you in the next video. I love each and every one of you. Have a great night.